Hi, I'm so excited to be here with Nicole Tate, CEO of Media in Action. She specializes in video and she's a producer and an awesome editor. She's called a visual storyteller extraordinaire. She helps businesses and organizations tell their story, their way, through video. Now, how I met Nicole was through a creative live course that I was taking with Sue B. Zimmerman. You've seen some of her stuff that I've done. And I was just so excited to connect with Nicole. She really knows how to use her smartphone to get connected with people. That's how we met. And she's an awesome video producer. She does a lot of work with Sue B. Zimmerman. So tell me a little bit about your work with Sue.
Well, Sue and I actually were in a group together, another woman's entrepreneur group through Tori Johnson's Spark and Hustle.
Oh.
And I went to an event in Detroit, Michigan, and I kept hearing Sue's name. And I am also a lover of Creative Live. That's one of my goals, is to actually teach a course on Creative Live. I love Creative Live.
Me too.
It's very addictive. And so I was watching Creative Live one day with James Wedmore. Of course, he's like the video king of YouTube.
Of course.
And I learned a lot from James. That's actually how I got started, is looking at a lot of his videos and YouTube tutorials. And James was on Creative Live. He was talking about Instagram and Sue Zimmerman. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, so this is the second time in 2 weeks that I've heard her name. I've got to reach out to her. I have to find out who she is. So I connected with her. And we've been BBFs ever since. That's Best Business Friends. Okay. We actually go to social media events together. I became her video editor. And then I actually was on Creative Live when she was teaching her Instagram for Businesses course.
And that's how we connected.
Exactly.
That's great. So Nicole, tell me, how did you get into the business of video?
Well, I actually graduated from Michigan State University with a degree in materials management. And I went to work for a Fortune 500 company for 15 years. Mm-hmm. And I decided to step away and be a stay-at-home mom. So I literally stepped away from my dream career for my family. Oh. And I was completely okay with that. I always thought I would be a CEO of a company, but I always thought it would be a Fortune 500 company. I thought I would be the next Ursula Burns, the first African-American CEO of Xerox. And the cards, it just didn't play out that way. And I was okay with that. So one day I picked up a video camera and I started doing some videography work for nonprofit organizations. And I did that for about 4 years. And one day my husband literally said, you know what? It's getting bigger and bigger. Why don't you incorporate? So I incorporated the next day.
Oh, wow. So that's great. So you started out with not-for-profits and you did a lot of work that way, got your chops built that way, and then you went on. That's fantastic. So now I know that you are the storyteller extraordinaire, right? What does that mean exactly, and what does it mean to tell a business's story?
Well, if you look in history, especially through my culture, a storyteller is known as a griot. And what they do is it's an oratorical. It's not written down. It's storytelling by memory, and it's passed on from generation to generation. And so it's something that just comes naturally for me. I love to tell stories. A good story will feed on someone's emotions. It'll keep you captured. Within the first 30 seconds, you're hooked, and you want to know what the outcome is. So ever since I was a kid, I've always been a storyteller. A lot of people like to call it a comedian, but I call it a storyteller. Okay. And so what I do is I help businesses really to hone in on who are you, what is your story, what is your purpose, and I want them to tell it in their own voice. I don't want them to imitate anybody else, because if you imitate somebody else, it's so transparent. So I really get to the core of who, and if the business was a personality, who would they be?
Okay, so we're going to get into in a little, just a little moment, how a business can do this for themselves using their smartphone, because you know I'm really big with smartphone cameras, and that's actually, after I learned photography, I was hooked. And I just realized that my smartphone camera was able to also tell a story in photo and also video. So tell me just what is the difference really between a corporate video and a storytelling? What's the benefit?
The benefit is, okay, so a story has a beginning, a
Mm-hmm.
middle, and an end. And again, you have 15 seconds to hook somebody with your story, because our attention span as human beings, it's not that great. So if you can hook someone within the first 15 minutes, if you can say, this was the problem and here's the solution within that first 15 seconds, you can hook a person with your story. And then in the middle, you go on to tell, okay, this is where I was, this is where I am now, and this is how I got there. So that's your middle. And then your ending is a call to action. How can you get there? How I can help you get there.
Okay.
So that's for businesses. That's really what it's all about. Is it's about emotions. You're really not you're playing on people's emotions, but who else out there has this issue, and how
Okay.
can I help you?
So it's really figuring out what the problem is, what that common pain point is, and then letting the customer know what their solution is.
Correct. Correct.
So now we're going to get into the smartphone portion of this discussion, and I'm so interested in your input on how somebody can go about shooting a video with their smartphone.
All right. So here's the deal. When I started recording tutorial videos and everything that, by the way, never got released,
Oh,
because I started with camcorders and handheld devices. And, you know, I wanted to give that background. I wanted to give people really the nitty gritty of what it takes to shoot a video. And then I realized that they're not interested in that.
mm-hmm.
They're interested in, let me start where I am. What do I have? What is always by my side? It's a smartphone.
Right.
And because the technology is such that now David can slay Goliath, the little guys, the small businesses can take an Android device, an iPhone, and shoot video. And we have apps and different things now that we can utilize that literally put us in the same playing field as those
Excellent.
corporate companies. So that's what my audience was interested in. So I literally scrapped my whole entire first business plan and started with the mobile devices,
Okay.
and teaching people how to utilize your mobile devices to get that ideal customer that you want.
Okay, that's excellent. And what apps would you recommend for somebody who really doesn't have knowledge of professional videography and how to shoot?
Well, there's two thought processes that we take. One is the do-it-yourselfer, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. But then there's the person who definitely wants to take advantage of video. They know they need to take advantage of video. They know that this is where social media is going, and people don't really read anymore. They're like, give me the quick 3 to 5 minute version, and I'm on my way. So those people who don't have the expertise, the knowledge, or the time will utilize services like myself, who's a professional video editor. Okay, so that's that route. But say you're a do-it-yourself, or you don't have the budget, or you just want to do it yourself.
Right.
One of the apps that I just found, and I'm going to apologize to my Android users because I'm an iPhone user. I definitely, on my website and on my YouTube channel and some different blogs, will go into some Android devices or Android apps as I learn about them.
Sure.
But for right now, I'm an iPhone user. One of the best video editing solutions that I just found, or apps that I just found, is called Video Hance.
Okay.
And it actually puts light leaks in there, like different transitions. It's just beautiful. So I would start with Video Hance, take a look at that, play with that a little bit. Okay. I do have some Video Hance 15-second videos on my Instagram account, which is hashtag media in action.
Okay, that's great. And I know that you said that you met James Wedmore and you came to know James Wedmore, and I actually do train with James Wedmore myself. And I just want to share something with you and with our audience that I learned for an app for shooting with an iPhone. It's called Movie Pro, and it's part of the training that I took with James Wedmore in all of my videos in my office, except for this type of video, because I prefer to shoot the videos on Skype with a hardwired connection. So that means that I'm shooting with an HC 920, a Logitech, which is a webcam that sits right on top of, my monitor. But if I were to shoot with a camera, I would shoot with the camera just like that in horizontal position. But I want you to speak to me a little bit about what people have to know about shooting with their smartphone.
Okay. First of all, you want to make sure that your phone, that it's horizontal when you're shooting.
Right.
Okay. That eliminates those annoying black bars on the side of your video when you go to edit. And you want to make sure when you're shooting that your home button is to the right. So if I were to flip this over, you see where my home button is. And what that does is it eliminates you shooting upside down.
Okay. So the circle is on the right?
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
And then, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I didn't know that you had more tips. I want to hear.
More tips and tricks. Of course, any video you want to have good audio. So there are audio adapters for the iPhones and Androids, and those I got one from KV Connector. And if your audience is more interested in that, I will have some of the links on my website.
Excellent.
Connected to this interview so that they can see some of the other apps and some of the other accessories that we'll talk about today.
Sure. And resources will also be in the book that this interview is going to be featured in, as well as my blog too. But we were speaking about, I don't know if I can reach it from here. Hang on. We were speaking about accessories, right? And I said that I also shoot with my smartphone. So, do you shoot with a tripod?
I do shoot with a tripod.
Okay.
And so the tripod that I have, it's called a Quadruped.
Okay.
And let me see if I can find mine. We don't ever go anywhere. They're always handy, right?
We are all ready with our gadgets, right?
Gadgets.
Nice. Oh.
And this one actually grips to different things.
What is that called?
It's called a Quadruped. And I'll have a link to this one as well.
Nice.
And so your cell phone sits in here.
Okay.
And it actually grips to different things. I've hooked it to trees, to the back of chairs,
nice.
Whatever. It just grips onto things, or you can just put it on a desk and use it as a desktop.
Excellent.
Another thing I have, and let's see if it is handy. Usually I put this one up a little bit further. But I do have it.
Nice.
It's called a Muku Shutterstock. And what this does, it's actually Bluetooth enabled.
Okay.
So that when you want to record yourself or when you want to take pictures of yourself in a group, I use my Quadruped, I set it on something, I turn this Bluetooth on, and I hit the little button
it's like
here.
a remote shutter.
It's a remote shutter.
Perfect.
And it takes video and photo.
Nice. I did not even know of that. Wow, I love learning. That's fantastic. So if you're mounting it on that quadruped, you said?
Quadruped.
Quadruped, sorry. It looked like a little dog.
It does. It looks like a little person, a little robot.
Right. Does it have a mount for the iPhone on it? Because this is my iPhone mount. Okay, great.
Yes. And I believe you can take it off and, no, this one, I'm sorry, you can't. Well, yeah, you can. You can take it off so that if you had to mount it to something else, like another tripod, one of the larger tripods, you can just take this piece off, put your iPhone in here and screw it into the adapter to another tripod.
So that's specifically for a smartphone?
That is specifically.
iPhone specific or?
No, any smartphone. It could even hold an iPad. That's why I got this one, because it's versatile.
That's excellent, excellent. And when you're shooting, do you have audio off of the camera, or do you shoot with the audio recorded into the camera?
Well, Because I usually shoot for clients,
Sure.
we use an external mic
Okay.
from Audio Technica, and it's a wireless lavalier mic.
Yes. I have that also. It's the ATR 3350. Mine is wired, okay? And I use my cable wrap for my headphones because you do not, there's like 20 feet of wire in this and it's excellent, right? You're using this with clients and they're not going to be running around, right? So you can totally wire them,
Correct.
right? So that's what
Correct.
that KV connector is for, to connect this to the iPhone.
Yeah, I have the wired one and I have the wireless as well,
You
just in
do.
case.
Okay, excellent.
Because the worst thing you want to do is
Yeah,
have a good video with lousy audio.
right.
Um, Unfortunately, I had a client who paid to have a celebrity come and speak for her, and the batteries were going out on one of her mics. And so you
Oh,
heard a lot of the background noise and everything.
yeah,
And they didn't know until the event was over. The person had gone back to where they live and everything. And we're downloading the video. And all of a sudden you look at it and it's like, oh my gosh, you have no audio, or you have bad audio and you can only clean it up so much. So you always want to have plan A, B, and C when it comes to audio, because that's something you can't go back and recreate, and that's something you can't go back and fix.
right. I'm so glad you emphasized that. The audio is so crucial to the
It's
video.
so important.
If your audio is just, I won't use the word, but if it's not good, people won't watch it, right?
Yeah,
Do you agree?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what do you think about music and the importance of having music in your videos?
Music sets a tone, and music is very important when it comes to your video. The only thing I say is, especially for someone who's in our industry, you have to be very, very careful because you do not want to infringe upon somebody's copyright laws. So even for a 15-second video, I rarely use music that you would hear on the radio today. I use royalty-free music. In my iTunes library, I have a royalty-free library all set up so that even if I'm on the go, even if I'm shooting video and I have to choose a song, it's
Right.
right there in my library.
Oh, that's
And you can
excellent.
get royalty-free music a lot of different places, but some of the places that I use are envatomarketplace.com, royaltyfreemusic.com, pond5.com, and iStockPhoto /audio. So not only do you have photos that you can purchase, you also have music that you can purchase as well.
Okay, that's excellent. So we'll definitely be listing those in case you weren't writing just fast enough. But I know that YouTube allows you to include music that they give you for free. What do you think of the benefits or cons of that?
I think it's very good for people who are just starting off,
Mm-hmm.
people who aren't as choosy or picky. But if you are creating a brand,
Mm-hmm.
you definitely want to, just like your logo, you want it to be, when people see it, like a Coca-Cola,
Yeah.
and it stands out and it jumps out at you, or a Nike and it jumps out at you. You also want to choose your music very wisely, because when someone hears that or hears something similar to that, they're going to think about you and your brand. So if you're in it for the long haul, I say go ahead. It's not that expensive.
Okay, excellent. And I wanted to talk to you for a moment about intros and outros, and again, building your brand, especially if you're just starting out, you're an entrepreneur, a small business, you've never even thought of maybe editing or producing your own videos. What are the importance of having an intro and an outro, and where could somebody possibly create them for themselves?
Okay, intros and outros are, again, very important because it sets the mood, it sets the stage, it sets your brand. One of the places that you can go, and it's our best kept secret, but I'm okay sharing it, is Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com. You can get an intro or an outro for $5. However, if again you're in it for the long haul, you're branding yourself and you want something just a little bit more custom and unique, you want to reach out to a video editing service such as Media in Action, because we can customize that for you. We can get custom music.
Right.
You can tell us your idea. Just tell us the general idea of what you want, and we have video editors who are well versed in motion graphics and different things, and we can create exactly what you want, and nobody else will have it. Fiverr.com is a very good starting place, but it's mostly templates. For $5, you're going to get a template. So anybody else can come and get that same exact thing and just pop their logo in.
Yes.
So if you want something a little bit more custom, it's okay to pay a little bit more. And the thing about it is, once it's created for you, it's yours to use for life.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm glad that you spoke of that, because I actually used Fiverr.com when I was just starting out and just needed to brand myself a little bit more than just, a run-of-the-mill uploaded YouTube video, right? So after that, I went to, get my branded intro and outro, and it means so much. And Media in Action completely, I'm sure, is an excellent resource for that. So you want to stand out and be remembered, I highly agree. Great service.
Thank you. I was just speaking to one of my clients the other day, and I said, if you want yourself riding in on a pink polka dot unicorn flying over a rainbow, we can do it.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, that's exactly what I want.
That's funny. Well, I want to get on the topic of social media, because again, it's where we met. We met on Creative Live actually, but we connected through social media. If it weren't for social media, we wouldn't be able to connect, right?
That's right.
Twitter, Facebook. Tell me what your favorite platforms are to use, and someone that's getting started and has so much to do and doesn't know where to start.
Well, you would think because of video, I would have started on YouTube, but our good buddy James Wedmore had YouTube pretty locked up.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from James. Don't get me wrong. I love James. I love learning from James. But when you think of video, you think about YouTube, right? And when you think about learning, you think about James Wedmore. Because I had a lot of friends say, "Why are you competing with James Wedmore?" I said, "I'm not. The pie is so large. I'm not competing with James. I respect everything that he does. But there are so many more platforms where you utilize video. And I'm just trying to help my clients to understand what videos you put on what platforms. That's what my niche is. That's what I love to do. I love to tell your story, and I like to put it on the correct platform. So when I look at all the different social media platforms, I actually started and branched out on Instagram.
Okay.
Thus, how I met Sue B. Zimmerman and how we became fast friends. That 15-second video, if you can nail that 15-second video, first of all, for small businesses, it's free. And if you can tell your story in 15 seconds, there is one company called Charity Water. So if you go on Instagram and you look up Charity Water, if you look at their 15-second video, it is better than any 60-second video I've ever seen. It's awesome. So I would say if you're a small business, especially starting out with not a large budget, nail that 15-second video and it'll mean the world to you.
That's great. Just like Twitter is 120 characters. You don't really need that long. It's what you put in it that really counts. So I totally agree. So you love Instagram?
I love Instagram.
How about Facebook and Twitter and anything else?
Well, the thing about Instagram is that you can share over to Facebook and Twitter and Tumblr.
Right.
However, I do like to do, because each platform is different, I don't like to share the same exact content on every social media platform.
Okay.
So that's another niche that Media in Action does for you, is we understand what content should be shared on each social media platform, and we will tweak it to meet those needs. So I do also love Facebook. I also love Twitter, because now Twitter has a feed where it shows your last 100 photos or videos. It stays right out there, so it looks like almost like an Instagram feed. LinkedIn, a lot of people forget about LinkedIn. But LinkedIn, I mean, if you go from LinkedIn to SlideShare or SlideShare to LinkedIn, there you go. You again, you're upping your SEO, your search engine optimization. So it just really depends on where your ideal customer resides.
Absolutely.
I would say don't try to be on every platform. If your customer is not on Tumblr, leave Tumblr alone. So it really depends on where is your ideal customer, which we help our clients figure out. And then we help them figure out what story they need to tell on that particular platform.
Okay, so if somebody had a limited budget and they just wanted to start, you recommend Instagram?
I love Instagram. I think Instagram, you're going to find your millennials on Instagram, some of your younger population, some of your younger entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
But and a lot of people, they're like, well, I'm not in that age group, but listen to the children, listen to the teenagers, listen to the kids, because that is where social media is going. And right now they're on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I know that for professionals that are using LinkedIn and maybe a more professional market, maybe not a B2C, perhaps a B2B, I did a video on LinkedIn and being able to use your videos on your profile. So
Yeah.
it's amazing that you can use up to six, I think, six PDFs or video or photos or something right up top. It was great. So LinkedIn, I highly recommend if, that's your market and you're trying to be a professional, totally, I would recommend that one too.
Definitely, definitely. And then, when you looked at LinkedIn, it's a little bit more professional.
Yes.
So I would say that's the one where you want to spend a little bit more money
Mm-hmm.
on professional videographer, professional editing work.
Right.
Because you do have a little bit more of a professional audience there. Whereas on Instagram, it's more fun.
Right. It's more fun and it's more instant. And you don't have the
Exactly.
need to be that professional. It's more urgent. It's not, maybe like it's going to always sit there. It's just kind of used up immediately, that instant gratification. So you're right. That was a great, great point. For
Right.
LinkedIn, you're going to go professional. I would totally
Right.
agree.
And so for that instant gratification, we call that RTM, or real-time marketing. It's
Mm-hmm.
something that's happening right now. It's behind the scenes. It's something you want to capture right now because it's not going to happen. Or if you take it and download it to your computer and edit it later, it loses its meaning.
Right, right,
So yeah, that's where you want to use your Instagram, your Vine, your
right.
Twitter type of thing.
When it needs to be timely, but if it needs to
Exactly.
be timeless, LinkedIn. That was awesome. Great, great point. That's like a tweetable.
Marie Forleo's tweetables.
Yahoo! So I want to talk to you about some of the stuff that you do behind the scenes, because I know that that's one of the things that intrigued me about you and how you work. And before we did this video, we were taking pictures of each other, right? It's the stuff behind the scenes that really, gets to people because it's something that nobody else is going to see. Most of the people see the consumer facing stuff. So tell me
Exactly.
a little bit about what you would recommend to a business that wants to start shooting things like behind the scenes like we do.
Well, I always shoot video shoots.
Okay.
I always capture those on video, or photography shoots.
Mm-hmm.
When you're getting your headshots or when you're doing product demos, I always shoot what's going on, because what's the bigger picture is so much more funny than what you actually end up editing and seeing. We do a lot of blooper reels. I like to dance. I like to laugh. And a lot of time my kids get embarrassed, but those are the best behind the scenes videos.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the
Absolutely.
type of things I like to capture. I know that businesses typically don't like to show their human side. They don't like to show themselves at football games or basketball games or their kids' soccer events. But you know what? People like to buy from people they trust and people they know. So I know there are companies who have like Terrible Tie Tuesday. So go around and snap those ties. Or just different events that you have, team building events. People like to see that.
That was a great comment, because I know that on Facebook there's hashtag TBT or Throwback Thursday, and you always take something like that would surprise people because they may not have known you then, or if they were your family, they remember you when you were little,
Exactly.
nothing. So you could totally create a video of something like that. Maybe not even shooting the video, but can you do any kind of videos out of photographs? And how would you
Cor-
recommend that?
Yes, yes, especially for the do-it-yourselfer. The
Sure.
easiest one is called Flipagram.
Woohoo!
Love Flipagram. Let me think what else. The other applications that I use a lot, Canva. Love
Oh,
Canva. Canva has made it has made my life so much easier. I have used Canva for my social media covers, for presentations, for um, you name it.
and
Canva.com.
I know that Canva.com is desktop version too. Is that a paid for service? Is that something that people would have to pay for for each thing, or is it a free service?
It is a free service, but if you use some of their graphics, but they're no more than $1 a piece. I
Oh,
did a whole entire 30 something slide presentation for a social media world in Lima, Ohio, and I paid $2.
love it.
Love Canva.
I
So
totally
Canva is
love
one
it.
of Word Swag is another application. I
Yes.
believe that one it might be like $1.99, but
Mhm.
Word Swag is a really awesome application out of iTunes. Another one that I utilize is Pick Play Post, where
Okay.
you can have pictures and videos
Oh.
at the same time. So I
Mhm.
use that a lot. Diptyque.
Oh, love that.
Love Diptyque. So
Yes.
yeah, those are some. And then another one that I just ran across, and I run across them all the time. I actually have a playlist now on my YouTube channel just for applications, things that are coming up, reviews that I'll be doing on some apps. And the other one that I just found is called Studio.
Okay. And
And
that's, go ahead. What is that for?
it filters, titles, I mean, just a lot of different things for your pictures. Like if you took a picture and it's not all that great,
Hmm.
pop it in Studio and see what you can do with it.
Okay. So that's for a photo, not for a video, but you
That
could
one's
use
for
that photo in a video.
You can use that photo and take it and put it in Flipagram.
Right. That's excellent. Excellent. So, do you have any exciting projects that you have coming up that you'd like to share?
I do. I actually have a series called Start Where You Are. Like I said, I scrapped my initial business plan because it was a little bit too complicated for your everyday average busy entrepreneur. And that's usually who I end up connecting with, engaging with, are entrepreneurs who are busy on the run, wear a lot of different hats, and just they understand the importance of video and they want to do it. They want to get it out there. So we're just breaking down the barriers, cutting through the BS,
Hmm.
and showing people how to get out there and get noticed. So it's called Start Where You Are, and it's going to be on YouTube, and then I will share it to my other social media platforms. And the other one is, I, of course, we all know the Real Housewives of Orange County, the Real Housewives of Atlanta, the Real Housewives of this. Well, I am the Real Housewife, and it's the Real REEL Housewife. And
Okay.
so I'll be coming up with tips and tricks on how to get started in entrepreneurship. There are a lot of people who are stay-at-home moms and different things who they have a passion, they have something, they have a story to tell, they have something they want to do, and they just don't know how to get started. So
Nice.
follow me on YouTube, The Real Housewife.
The Real Housewife. Is that where, is it Media in Action on YouTube, or is it the real?
Media in Action.
So,
Media in Action, and the playlist is called The Real Housewife.
okay. And how can people find you on Twitter?
It it's very simple. I have my business name on every platform. It's
Woo!
Media in Action, MEDIAIN Action, Media in Action.
Good. And I love that tip to keep it consistent across the board so people don't have to scratch their head. I thought I would be able to find them on Twitter as their name on, a Facebook or Instagram or something. So that's a great tip. So this interview is going to be featured on my new book coming up, Visual Marketing Secrets: How to Use your woohoo, How to Use Smartphone Photography to Attract Clients and Engage Online. And it will also be available on YouTube, and it will also be available on my podcast, Smarter Online Marketing, and on my website at saywowmarketing.com. See, I kept it straight across the board. That's Say Wow
There you
Marketing.
go.
Good. So it's been wonderful today. Nicole, thank you so much for your expertise. You've been invaluable.
Thank you for having me. And thanks to social media for connecting us.
Love it. And Creative Live
And
and
Creative
James
Live.
Wedmore and Subi Zimmerman.
There you go.
Love it. Great company. Thank you so much, Nicole.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care. Virtual high five.
Nice.